A few months have passed since the extraordinary news of the Croatian archaeologists that Illyrian history will be rewritten, and with this the history of the Balkans and Europe. The New York Times best evaluated this discovery for the Illyrians, referring to the discovery of Croatian archaeologists, writes, "We know our ancestors for hunting mammoths, but the recent discoveries on the island of Korčula proved to us that people knew how to process them pottery since the Ice Age. And these people who knew how to do much more than hunting had culture, technical development, and who knew much more than we, Croatian and American archaeologists, are probably guessing even now, and that the books we have can be deserted, according to the erroneous teachings of history and archaeology so far." When Croatian archaeologists made their discovery public, they said that these findings changed the meaning of general world history. Discoveries on the island of Korčula, in the locality of Kopil, have found an Illyrian necropolis, in which ceramic shards have been found, dating between 17,500 and 15,000 BC, Croatian media reported last fall, presenting the culmination of 4 years of research. Paradoxically, with historical and archaeological beliefs and books, this discovery aligns Illyrian and human time and culture with the age of the pyramids of Banja, which the archaeologist Samarajic claims to have discovered, and they are about 20,000 years old, and more. So, the boundary between the Illyrian culture and the Balkan and European culture has shifted for more than 10,000 years, or about 15,000 years before the appearance of the early one, and more than 15,000 years before what is known as the Hellenic civilization, and that Europe calls it the foundation of its and the world's civilization, even evaluating it as the most superior in antiquity. What is surprising is that in addition to ceramics, iron weapons, and bronze ornaments, silver, glass and amber were found in the cemetery, all of which indicate independence and pre-development from the Hellenistic civilization. Cemeteries of this type have not been known, and in terms of organization, dimensions and content, they represent a new finding in the historical studies of the Illyrian inhabitants for the time before Christ, according to the statements of Croatian archaeologists. Archaeologist Dinko Radic, leader of the archaeological expedition, had stated that they feel privileged that the entire unknown human history can be seen in one place. On the island of Korčula, evidence of human life has been discovered, from the Stone Age to the Bronze Age. It is thought that the discoveries in Kopil will change the way we see history in these spaces. We often perceive the Illyrians as marginal, especially in relation to the Greek settlers. However, our research has shown that the role of the Illyrians in these areas was greater than what has been thought and presented so far, says Radic. Immediately after these results, interest in these archaeological discoveries has been shown by world-renowned archaeologists, including Professor Preston Miracle from the University of Cambridge, who joined the Croatian archaeologists in their 4-year work, the media reported. But, what is shocking and depressing for the Albanians, we who believe and are already arguing, apart from archaeology, history, anthropology and genetics, that we are descendants of the Illyrians, Albanian historians and archaeologists continue to be silent and indifferent to the discoveries made, which not only change the views on the Illyrian development and civilization, but also the European and world one. Even the authors of schoolbooks, who are mostly mediocre historians, continue to write and teach our children that the Illyrians were groups of undeveloped tribes, that in some cases some of them even created kingdoms after the spread of Greek civilization, and these never had kingdom, and necessarily present them with a very inferior image to Hellenic culture. The two academies of sciences, of Kosovo and Albania in particular, should at least welcome these discoveries. But we really don't know what they are doing, like Hifzi Islami, head of a shack, who measures the land of Kosovo, to give 2% to Montenegro. It would have been much better if he had forced a team of academics, financed it, and asked the government to make an expedition to Croatia. Prime Minister Rama should do the same, who is full of nationalism in many cases, and does not care about the studies that are changing our history, and are restoring us to the foundations of the pyramid of European and world civilization. This is how the Prime Minister of Kosovo acts deceptively, who makes propaganda, blackmails, and threatens all those who oppose him to give almost 2% of the territory to Montenegro. On the contrary, it despotically follows the path of Thasi, and continues to make concessions and give the Illyrian Albanian heritage to the Serbs and Serbia. So, our archaeologists, our historians who follow the official rhythm, the two academies and the two governments are deeply positioned against the Albanian culture and civilization, against the discovery of the truth. The two ministries of culture are deeply against our ancient culture, against its discovery, and they close all efforts and investments to the discoveries of the Roman period, and rarely Hellenistic, because the depth of further research argues the opposite. What they are discovering, Croatian archaeologists, that the Greeks brought civilization to the Balkans, they found it here, the Illyrians had it, we had it.